Hey, John Kavakis here with another edition of My Take. And today we're going to talk to you about Sergio Goldvarg's Goldvarg Museum in Western Florida. Now, we've been waiting a long time to get a look at Sergio's museum. And I'll tell you something, we spent a couple days out in Florida. A group of people were with us. We've had a fantastic time. The museum is far more than anything you ever imagined it could be. So Sergio knew we were coming. He was prepared for us. He was a most gracious host. We got to meet him, his wife, a couple members of his family. He gave us a tour of his home, and then he took us back to the museum. Now, Sergio lives in a nice neighborhood, a very modern looking home, and the museum is kind of incorporated into his home, a separate building, but looks very much like it fits in with the home and the neighborhood around him. So it was a thrill. I got to tell you something. We all know Sergio is a collector just like us, but I got to tell you something. He's not a collector just like us. He's a collector that we all want to be. He's got a vast collection of models. I'm going to show you a lot of them. He likes to concentrate on racing. He's very proud of his Argentinian racing heritage, and there are some phenomenal models that he has, but that's not all he has. He's got full-size cars. He's got memorabilia, and he's got a large showroom with well over 6,000 models that he put in place personally by himself. Now, this is hard to understand until you see the scope of his collection. So, we had a group of people. We met in Miami, flew into Fort Lauderdale. We all stayed in a hotel close to where Sergio lives. And then on Wednesday last week, we trucked over to the museum to see him. We got a chance to see the museum. There was a gourmet meal accompanied with it. We got a chance to spend several hours with Sergio, talking to him about collecting, about models, about his passion, and we even had pictures, I'll show them to you, of a lot of the early prototypes, the white metal models that just didn't get made because Sergio moved from Argentina up to the United States, and in that transition the white metal models kind of went by the way, and he started doing resin, and so we're thankful for that too, because he's produced some amazing resin models. We got pictures of everything, all the people. We'll show you the activities that we engaged in the day before we went to see Sergio and the morning before we went to see Sergio. So it was a fun-filled couple of days. We're going to do this again. So keep your eye on this. I'll try and give you some of the details at the end of the video here. But let's take a look at all the fun we had over 2 days in Florida. Sergio walked us up to the door of his museum, and it's really hard to describe the sensation of entering the museum. It's like Christmas, Easter, your birthday, all your best birthdays wrapped up in one. And just everywhere you look, there are thousands and thousands of models, and each one of them seems to be absolutely fascinating. Randy Russ got a picture of me when I first walked in, and what was going through my head was nothing short of, oh my gosh. Now, there are models of every type and every size, an extensive collection of race cars, Formula One cars, but that's not all. There's 143rd, there's 164th. There's a variety of scales, a variety of styles, Argentinian cars for the United States, airplanes, buses. I mean, you think about it, if it's got wheels, he's probably got a model of it. And then, of course, there are the 1/1 cars as well. We'll get to those in just a second. But there's memorabilia hanging everywhere. And it's just everywhere you look, there's a feast for the eyes. And your eyes get drawn down further and further on these shelves. And there's just so much to see. It's almost over. There are military vehicles of all types and all sizes, and there are shelves and shelves of them, and Sergio has a story behind each one of them. There are figurines and memorabilia and little bits and pieces that every time you look at, there's some reminder of our childhood or something that we're familiar with. It's just an amazing feast for the eye. The 1/1 cars were equally incredible. Every one is in perfect condition. Every one of them runs. Sergio has a story behind every one of these cars. And of course, he's got the Batmobile. He's got them in all sizes, 187th all the way up through a 1/1 replica. I don't think it's replica. I think it's actual Batmobile. He's got pedal cars. He's got push cars. There's an Isetta. It's everywhere you turn. There's just something you just want to go, oh, wow. As a bunch of car guys, we hardly pay any attention to the Ferrari. And that's how amazing these cars were. Carl drooled over the Alpha, and the Alpha was just absolutely beautiful. And hearing Sergio's stories about these cars was even made them even more fascinating. Now here's the kicker, and this is something that makes this so special. Sergio did not turn us over to a curator or a museum director. He spent the evening with us himself. He had so much joy in sharing his collection, and he was an excellent host. He made sure that he spent time with each one of us individually, spent time with each of us collectively, made sure that we were engaged, made sure that we were entertained, constantly pointing things out. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? And a lot of times when he pointed something out, it was because he was so proud of it. He would say, look at this. And then there'd be a story behind it. One of the most amazing things was we would say, well, do you have such and such a model? And he would, oh, yeah, it's right around here in the corner. And he would go locate it right away and not just show it to you, but he would explain to you why it was there in the display. And how long he's had it. He's had a lot of these vehicles, a lot of these models since he was a child. He kept the boxes, he kept everything absolutely meticulously maintained and here for our enjoyment and his as well. He gets as much fun out of this as we do. And spending this time with him, spending this evening with him was just amazing. And I'll tell you something, we didn't even see all of it. There just wasn't enough time to take it all in. And he was such a gracious host and so accommodating, just absolutely top-notch, 100% wonderful. Now, the museum has 2 levels. After spending a couple hours downstairs trying to look at everything, we went upstairs where Sergio's personal work area is, and they also had a setting for dinner. Beautiful gourmet Italian dinner, complete with dessert. You're not seeing any because we ate it all, but it's absolutely delicious. And then we got down to some serious stuff, and Sergio started showing us some of the older prototypes he had. We all gathered around his work table, saw things like this yellow Henry J. Sergio was very generous, allowing us to take pictures and get all of the details on this. There's an Oldsmobile convertible, Randy taking a picture of that. And here's one we never saw, was a Plymouth, kind of El Camino type, an El Plymouth. The rare Nash, they only made 3 of those, some think maybe 4. He has one on hand, beautiful model. And Sergio he was thrilled to share these things with them. I don't know if he had a better time or we did. So the evening was filled with stories and anecdotes and tales of how he grew up, where he came from, why he has all these cars. There was memorabilia that he cherishes all over the place. All of these things mean something to him. And I think one of his greatest joys is being able to share them with collectors like us. Watching him watch us was quite an experience. Even the women had a good time, and it was a long evening. They were patient with us, but they really had a great time. And we didn't want you to miss any of these stories, any of these background, any of these anecdotes. So before we left, Randy Rusk spent some time with Sergio, talking to him about his collection, how he amassed it, his motivations behind it, and his love for the hobby. Here's that interview now.
Hi, I'm Randy Rusk, and I am so excited because we are at the Goldvarg Museum in Florida, and with us is the man himself, Sergio Goldvarg of Goldvarg Models, but not just of Goldvarg Models, but of so many other models. So he's a collector just like we are, and I am so excited just to talk with you, Sergio, and kind of dig into your backstory with not just your series of models, but all of the other stuff that we've got here. And there are thousands, in fact, Guinness World Record thousands of models in this space, plus a whole lot more. So I'm going to stop talking because I know everybody wants to hear from you. So let's go back to the very beginning when you were just a kid in Argentina.
Okay, long time ago.
And you had the time to pick your first model. What was it?
Well, first of all, thank you, Randy, for coming. I'm very happy that you're here. Okay, my very first toy car was the Meriwether Marquis fire engine from Matchbox number 9 with the gray wheels that you can see
It's
here.
right there.
And here is with the black wheel version and the new box, and this is the very first type.
And this isn't just one that you chased after later in life. That is the very first one.
That's the one. That's
with the original box.
That's the one with the original box. And then the second was the Volkswagen, that I was amazed to see that you can open the back and see the engine. Then the third one was the Ford Thunderbird, and finally this Comer from Coca-Cola Company. Those were the first four, and since then, since I was 4 years old, car collecting is part of my life. I never finished. I was fortunate to take care of them since I was very little. My father one Sunday he did some shelves in my room, so I took care of the cars, and I never touched the boxes again. I closed them and I put the cars on top, and that was the secrets. That's why
And here they still are, just
Here
from
they
your
are.
childhood. In
Exactly.
fact, it's not just Matchbox. We've got, let's go over here,
Yeah.
because you've also got Corgi and Dinky.
Corgi, Dinky, Solido, Techno, Spot On, but those were the expensive ones at that time. That for special occasions, birthday, Christmas, etc. So these cars used to cost 4 times, maybe 5 times the price of a Matchbox. So those are jewels, really, if you compare for the Matchbox. Even I have my heart with the Matchbox because this is the beginning of all my craziness about toy collecting. And even just tin cars that, for example, my grandmother gave me for Christmas that still works. I still have it with the original box, the James Bond Aston Martin. Everything that you can see here is not that I bought them yesterday. These are toys that have 50, 60 years old. So, and they bring me memories because I remember who bought it to me, in which occasion. So it's a time capsule, especially this part. And I display them in this way because this is the way I remember they were when I used to go to the toy store with my mother or my father. And I saw the Dinky, Corgis, and Solidos. They were like this in stairs. So I want to get back those memories alive.
Yeah, I mean this snaps us all back to childhood as we look at all of these. And the thing is, there's so many more models. Now your museum is recently opened, but it took you how long? I mean, you can see down row after row after row. How long? You must have had a whole crew of people helping you set all this up, right?
No, as a collector, you know that we don't let anybody to touch our toys. So I did, as every collector, everything myself, and taking time, but it's part of the beauty of collecting.
And that took you how long to get everything how you wanted it, at least for right now?
I believe for right now, 8 months to 1 year, but I'm not finished yet. I have many more models in boxes that I still have to open, but I'm waiting for the new showcases, and then I'm going to start again another 8 months of happiness.
So as we walk through this, one of the things that just strikes me as you cross every next display is it's the discovery of what the theme is, because you start to see things playing out, whether it's military vehicles or hearses or Tour de France cars. And what I love too in all of that is that you've got inexpensive part works cars all the way up to handmade white metal, all displayed together because you're telling the story of how they're all connected. So like, just as we look at this, what were you going through as you were assembling this one display that is just packed with models?
Yeah, these are and you see many of them handmade, for example, that they're unique pieces. This is the history of the roads in Argentina since I was a kid. So those were the cars that were manufactured in Argentina, made in Argentina, and that I used to see in the street when I was a kid. Even, for example, this Mercedes station wagon, the real one was made in Argentina in 1975. So,
You pointed this one out here. We were looking at this earlier. What is this?
well, this is a Torino Luteral that was made by a guy called Vinograd. and he decided to take the Torino, which is an Argentine car, and to make it sporty, like cutting the back and putting just the fastback, and different air intakes and different wheels, etc. It's nearly a cult car in Argentina. The Torino Luther is what you call it.
It's cool.
And they're very difficult to find.
Well, and we can't be remiss. There's lots of cars. We could talk all day about the model cars, but one of the other cool things about your collection is there's actual real cars here too. So let's kind of step over here. We've got a beautiful Volvo, this
Alfa Romeo.
this Alfa that you were showing us, and a Renault, a Ferrari, some micro cars, and a replica Batmobile.
Well, what happened is that, of course, collecting is about memories. It happens to the little cars and to the real cars, because we remember the cars that we saw in the street when we were kids, and that's the beauty of having them. Is again, time capsule. This Alfa Romeo was one of the 4 that were imported to Argentina to race the Grand Prix 1963. That was a replica of the Volvo that used Roger Moore in the TV show The Saint, and even has the same license plate. This is Simon Templar 1. So it's, and I love the TV show. That TV show for me was amazing. It was on the British television. So I got exactly the same one with the red interior, everything like that. This is the only 4-door sedan that I have. A Renault. This is called Gordini because the engine is bigger than the Dauphine. And this has even the original seats inside. And that was bought in the province of San Juan. The dealer was Ansulovich, and this car was made in Argentina 100%, the real one.
Okay.
Because Renault still has factory in Argentina. Okay. Well, this is it's not a collector item. Well, the real Mini with right-hand side. This is very funny because I traveled with my wife to London, and I said, I want something, a souvenir. So, okay, I bought this one. So this is a souvenir. And this is something that has a different story. My wife's birthday, I asked her, what do you want? And she told me, at that time, it was very popular, it was very fashion, the BMW 3 Series short. You say the compact, the trunk was shorter. And my wife told me, I want a BMW or compact BMW. Okay, so I bought this. And she was not very explicit in what she did. She told me a compact BMW, okay, here it is.
But I think if of all the full-size vehicles, the one that you're probably most closely associated with for a long time, I think the first time I ever learned of you, it was the Batmobile next to you. And,
yes.
And that is this one here. Tell us about that.
This car also has a funny story because I was looking for this car for 11 years, and I was living in Argentina, and in 1994 I found, I think it was Paul Bender that called me that there was one in LA. So I went with him and I bought it. It has to be restored. But when I bought it and it was in the ship, during the travel time, the Argentine government decided to close the importation of cars. And the car was in the middle of the water, in the middle of the ocean. Fortunately, it took nearly 3 months to get, when it arrived, the Antique Automobile Club of Argentina was going to decide which cars were allowed to come in and which not. It was not the government, because the government asked them to study if the car had some historical value, etc. So when they saw the Batmobile, of course, they said yes. But the other funny story is that when I used the car for the very first time, nobody told me that they didn't disconnect the battery during travel. So we started once, and I went out. I remember it was a holiday, national holiday, so nobody was in the street. I took the car, and probably 20 minutes later the car stopped and never started. So I called the automobile club. It's like the AAA here, it is the Argentine Automobile Club. I called them and I asked them, look, my car has no battery. Can you give me a battery? Of course, yes. I know. Which is the car? The Batmobile. What the fuck? I am working. It's a holiday and you are joking with me. Blah, 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 blah. And he hung up. So, wow. Probably I shouldn't mention the car. So I said, it's a black cube car. I don't know the brand. Okay. And when the guy came, he told me, I was the one that was talking to you by phone. I'm so sorry. I never imagined that it was going to be true. So, and there are many different stories, funny stories about this car. So this car, Alan Westenberg worked. They were once at home when we live in the other house, because they rented the car for a comic convention. So we were 15 days together. So they signed the car in the dashboard, and they were very nice people, very nice people.
So we would be remiss, there's so much we could talk about, but we would be remiss if we didn't spend a little bit of time with all of your racing history here. So before we step over there though,
yeah,
what got you into, what's your fascination with racing?
My fascination in racing is because the heritage and background of Argentine racing. Motor racing in Argentina is the second most popular sports. Of course, the first one is football or soccer, and the second one is motor racing. We have a long story with Juan Manuel Fangio, Freiland Gonzalez, Mendy Day, etc. racers from that they race in Europe, and so I think it's motor racing is in our blood. And I remember just out of the blue, I told my dad to bring me to the speedway to see a car race. I was 6 years old at that time. And when I saw that world, I got fascinated. And since then, I think I'm viewing my season number 61 or no 59 of Formula One.
So I think it's very appropriate then, because of where you started, where your fascination with automobiles really started with racing, is that when you walk, that is the first thing you see when you open the door and walk in. And every one of us who came in today, I think had the same bug-eyed look of just like, you can't take it all in. But let's take a little bit of that in and get over to some of those race cars.
Yes. Okay. This is the history of motor racing in 1/18 scale. All this wall is that scale, and I have different divisions and categories as Formula One, racing. You saw the Carrera Panamericana, Mexico. You have rally, NASCARs, which I love. You have the DTM, the German DTM. You have everything here. So it's the fascination of motor racing. It's the pinnacle of technology in a car is motor racing.
Well, and you've got behind us is a lot of 1/24 and 1/43 scale. You've got racing transporters. It just goes. Starts to boggle the mind with how much you have. But I want to focus on one that you showed us early on, because you've kind of taken what's issued out to the next step, to where you have had some of your models really customized to be exact replicas of end of the race models. So they're dirty, they're beaten up, they're torn up, they're taped together. Let's take a look at some of those.
Yes, for example, this Porsche 917 that raced Pedro Rodriguez from Mexico. In the 12 hours of Sebring, he crashed with Mark Donahue. So both cars finished, they were going to finish, any of them, in first and second place. They were both cars amazing, and the drivers amazing also. But they touched between each other and they finished 4th and 6th position. Mark Donahue and Pedro Rodriguez.
but you can see where like
The
you've
damage.
had
The
you've
damage.
had the extra work done to show what it looks like where it's been torn off, or over here the Sunoco number 6, the duct tape that is spread all over, and the dirtiness, the grunginess.
Oh, yes.
And then each diorama, they're almost dioramas in the sense that you've got the cars lined up in many cases in the order in which they finished. I mean, it's just so impressive. And you keep looking up and you look down and you look to the right and to the left. It's just, I still am not taking
And
it all.
also, apart the posters, they are all originals, and they are all about movies of racing or cars related, or the James Bond movies, which were always, the cars were also part of the movie, right?
So, Sergio, there is so much to see here. In fact, I've probably walked through each display a couple times, and each time I do, I'm finding something new. So thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
opening the doors to the Forum 43 group. We're big fans of Goldvarg models
Thank
as
you.
well. And I know those are upstairs. We haven't even looked at those yet. But thank you so much for your hospitality and for sharing a little bit of your story, how you got started. Because we find everybody has a story. Everybody comes into this hobby. What we do find though is everybody has a passion. There's a curiosity and a little bit of craziness.
Yes,
And I think all of those are on display in your collection.
Yeah, obsession, possession. We are all crazy, but we are all the same. It's a small world, and I love to be with collectors. So again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
so
much.
Thank
See
you
ya.
so much.
There are a lot of ways you can keep up with Sergio. He's got a website where you can see his models, goldvargcollection.com. He's on Instagram. He's on TikTok. He's on YouTube. 2 places on Facebook, one for his collection and collectors, and the other for the museum. And he's on LinkedIn. So put this page on pause, write these things down, go to those places and sign up for him. He would appreciate the encouragement, and we need to participate in him with everything he's doing for the hobby. Okay, so you can see everything we did was impressive. We met some really neat people. Randy Rusk has been doing interviews with some of the people we met, with some of the people that traveled with us. You can find those on Forum 43. And you can contact Sergio. He's got several social media sites. I'm going to put them up here for you to take a look at them. He's on Instagram. He's on TikTok. Of course, he's on Facebook, and he regularly posts on Forum 43 as well. But I'll have all that up here on the screen so that you can go engage in those. He's looking for more followers. The museum's doing really great, and he'd like to get the word out to as many people as possible. I want to say thanks to Sergio, thanks to his family for hosting us at a wonderful time. Thanks for a great meal, and thanks for one of the most impressive collections I've ever seen. And look, we'll be back again real soon. We'll let everybody know the next time we're going to Florida, but we'd like to do this again. We hope we can take some of you with us.